Good afternoon. I'm Jimmy Padia, CEO and founder at Floatbot.ai. Today I have with me Bryan Falchuk, CEO and President of PLRB. We are live from ITC from our booth 910. Today we have gathered to talk about launch of FloatSpace. That's an AI workspace for adjuster. So thank you, Bryan, for joining the launch ceremony.
Thank you for having me, Jimmy.
So what problem are we trying to solve? Today, adjusters spends more than 40% of their day in basic administrative tasks. Think of this as texting, emailing, scheduling, note-taking, document handling, the valuable time that they could have spent in adjusting, right? Or building that relationship, that trust with the claimant. So that's what we're trying to automate with FloatSpace. So Bryan, would love to hear your thoughts. Why do you think it's the right time for adjusters to adopt AI? Why now?
Yeah.
Do you think it's high time or it's right time?
High time. I was going to say it's not too late, but I think that the window of when we should have done it, maybe technology might not have been ready in time. I think every adjuster feels overwhelmed. Caseloads, the processes, the work to do is too much. They're also being bombarded from the outside. It's very adversarial quite often. So to navigate through that is difficult. So to think about having solutions to offload some of that, not so I can take on another 30% caseload or 40%, but so that I can get to the right result on the caseload that I have, and I can do the work that I actually signed up to do when I said, yeah, I want to be an adjuster. That, to me, is what it's about. And so it is high time, but could you wait? You can. The problem is the longer you wait, the worse it gets, and the further behind you slip, for the adjuster and for the carrier. So I think this is it's like a pinnacle moment where we get to deploy tools that are coming to market now to start to have an impact. And if we choose to wait a year, years, whatever it might be, okay, but we're getting further behind. And what's happened to our staff in that time? What's happened to our results in that time? So I think it is an interesting and unique moment now.
And I'm sure, a lot of adjusters would be using some sort of ChatGPT, AI on their own. That's not regulated. I mean, it's on their own personal capacity that they're using. There's our isolated tools. I mean, do you think it's also right time for software companies like us, or others that have claims system, claims management platform, or to kind of regulate this AI adoption in a way that there's so much of isolated AI that's being that's out there, and on top of it, adjusters are using AI on their own, I'm sure, without they knowing what could be the impact of that, right? So do you see industry also that kind of helping adjusters in helping them navigating with this AI adoption?
It's starting, right? And you're going to see different answers at different carriers, but I am seeing more and more stories at more and more carriers of places that they've deployed it. And those stories are becoming, you pointed out, it's sort of like they were point solutions. Like a lot of tech, we start with point solutions, and they're starting to evolve into things that are more intertwined. So a really good example is we were using AI to write drafts of letters to our insureds for this particular use case. So coverage letters, acceptance, not denial of coverage. And then we move from that into this other use case, and then it's all customer-facing communication. The AI is generating the first cut of it for the adjuster to read and then send out. That you're starting to see that happen already. So like land and expand in a sense, right? We've identified an area where we feel comfortable and safe deploying, but then very quickly it's spreading.
Yeah. I mean, and the great example is the recent innovation summit that you did, right?
Yeah.
Where you told that adjusters were sitting in room with all the AI solution providers, and they were
asked us for this.
Yeah.
So we weren't sure if we set up these demo opportunities, will it feel too commercial? Because we're education first kind of place, right? And so we were concerned that it would feel too commercial to have, closed room demos. But actually, our members were asking us, we really want to see firsthand what these things are and get time with the companies and ask the questions, not just, passing by the booth, but really get time with them. So, and the rooms were very engaged. So a lot of
Makes
questions,
sense.
a lot of discussion.
Yeah, just to take that initiative forward and to be part of this journey.
Yeah.
At Floatbot, we have launched FloatSpace. That's a comprehensive AI workspace for adjuster, right? So think of it, it's not replacing adjusters, it's just enabling them. It's like a wingman, empowering them. Think of it as like an AI virtual assistant of adjuster to just automate some of the basic administrative tasks, also to enable them to do more in less time. So here is the launch brief video of FloatSpace. So, we kind of are formally launching FloatSpace, at this ITC. I think the press release was out yesterday. Some of the problems we are solving is there's too many pinpoint isolated AI platforms or AI solutions out there. And this kind of is an initiative to have one comprehensive AI workspace for adjusters to automate some of their day-to-day workflows. This could be as simple as when they're on call, AI can listen to the call, can take notes, can summarize the calls, can extract key value information, can push this to the claims platform. And what do you think? Platform like FloatSpace, which is like one comprehensive platform, right? It's regulated, which means whatever has been shared, it's within the compliance boundaries, right? So adjusters are not making any mistakes of sharing PII or confidential data directly into ChatGPT or elsewhere. So what do you think a platform like this would add value to adjuster?
So I think two things. One is this word empower really gets me, because it's not replace. If you think about the world of an adjuster, they've all gotten hit by too much, and we've said this. So to think about doing your work with something standing by your side, to take off some of that burden so you can focus on the work you actually signed up to do, I think that is really empowering. It is really freeing and exciting. So on the one hand, I think that's a very positive thing, and that is the right word to focus on. The second piece of it is when you mention regulation, we have to think about what the world of claims is. It's not static, it's not fixed. That frontier is constantly moving, right? Exposures are changing, coverage is changing, the law is changing, both regulatory but also case law and the interpretation of coverage and the complexities with how lawsuits are being brought, and all of these things mean the work of the adjuster is not a fixed thing. So there will always be room for adjusters to apply their expertise if they have the capacity to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like you make room for the human to be an excellent human, and you have the AI to stand by their side.
Yeah, I mean, how many adjusters, like 150, 200,000 adjusters? And we know that it's not going to drastically increase, but the number of claims are increasing at phenomenal pace, right? So which means that adjusters will always have a lot more work to do, and they'll have an AI to assist them to do that work, right? So would you like to share some final thoughts on to make the adjuster world community comfortable?
Yeah.
And AI is here to help and not to replace, and it's probably a great time to start adopting AI.
I think if you think about what AI is really good at, and I don't just mean right now, I mean as a technology, because it will improve. So there are things it's not good at now that it will get better at, but like fundamentally, it's an enabler and almost a transaction layer. It can get things done. It's a really good analytical thinker, right? It can solve problems that are put in front of it, but it's not necessarily a critical thinker. That's a uniquely human proposition. And so I think for an adjuster, if you hold off and you push back on it, I think it should be a threat to you, because you're not keeping pace with utilizing it to make yourself even better. But if you're willing to try, if you're willing to engage with it, it suddenly becomes an unlock, right? Empower. It unlocks what you can do as a critical thinker, as the person delivering that empathetic expertise at these very difficult moments in the insured's life or their business's life. So to me, it's, again, to your original point, is like, is this the time? This is the time where you get to start interacting and draw the opportunity from it, rather than being a victim of a potential threat from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And at Floatbot, with this launch of FloatSpace, we're happy to be part of this initiative to empower registrars with AI. Feel free to reach out to me, for any questions, or to Bryan in general about AI adoption and what the future holds for registrars with AI. So thank you, Bryan,
Really excited for you.
for joining us for the launch. Thank you, Bryan.